So now that I've taught you a bit about what natural movements are good to do, let's go back to what not to do and talk about what types of movements are unnatural and harmful and should be avoided, and what to do instead. And this is stuff I mostly learned from Jeff Cavalier, who used to be the personal trainer and physical therapist for the Mets, and who now teaches the biomechanics of exercise, and who I've learned a lot about that from. So number one is doing a behind the head barbell press, all right, which is really bad for your shoulders. You're not meant to be lifting things up by first putting them behind your head and doing this, okay? Anytime you would be picking something up and lifting it up over your head in the real world, you'd pick it up in front of you, right? And you'd go like that the whole time it would be in front of you, all right? There's never any instance you'd need to reach back behind you and go like that. And when you do this, you can feel that that puts your shoulder under a strain. When you're doing this, you are putting your shoulder in a very bad position, right? It's not just disadvantageous, it is really bad for your shoulder, okay? It's not meant to move this way, it's just grinding that shoulder joint, causing impingement, and it's something that you should never ever do, even if you see a really muscular person in the gym doing it. All of your overhead pressing should be done in the front, where your body was meant to do it. Similarly, number two is doing a behind the head lat pull down. Again, you would never need to pull down something behind your head like that, okay? If you were ever climbing, you would never do that, okay? You'd always be climbing by pulling down in front of you like that. And so pulling down behind your head like that basically does the same exact thing that a behind the head barbell press does, but in reverse. So what you should be doing instead is be doing all of your bar pull downs in front. And if you're looking to do something different, if you're looking for a wider grip pull down or a type of pull down that's going to be more vertical and in alignment with your body and not in front at all, then you need to do a cable frame converging pull down, which I taught you about in both the back class and the cable class, so make sure you have seen those. Number three is doing a standing upright barbell row like that. And this is not good because it's internal rotation of the shoulders, which causes shoulder impingement and will result in permanent injury sooner or later. You should never be doing any sort of movements that causes this sort of internal rotation, all right? So what you should be doing instead for your upright row is using dumbbells and tilting them like this. So notice how that feels so much better than doing this. Number four is extremely close grip bench press like this, or extremely close push-ups like that. That puts your wrist in a harmful position and is not natural, okay? When you're doing a close grip press, all you need to do is do it closer than normal. This is a medium grip, this is a close grip, okay? You do not need to put your hands right next to each other so that they are touching and your wrists are getting put under a severe strain. Not unless you're using almost no weight. So I, for instance, when I'm warming up my chest, I will take an empty Olympic bar and press it using all grips, starting from here and then working my way out to all the way here, all right? So there's no weight on it and I'm only pressing it here a couple times, but you shouldn't be putting your hands like this under real load for a lot of reps. Number five is doing underhand push-ups or bench press, okay? This is an unnatural way for pressing heavy weight. Number five is underhanded bench press or push-ups, okay? This again is an unnatural way of pushing heavy weight that only puts your wrist and your shoulder under strain. So you can do that if you are using very lightweight and not exerting a lot of force and not going to failure, okay? You could do that for good measure. So like a lot of times when I'm doing push-ups, I'll do an entire set of 20 to 25 push-ups by going through every hand positioning I know. So I will do a few push-ups like that and then I'll go back out. That's okay. I've never felt any sort of pain in my wrist or shoulder from that. But if you're doing whole sets of push-ups like this or bench pressing heavy weight like that, you are putting yourself at risk. So what you should be doing, if you want to do a whole set of underhand push-ups, I recommend not fully supinating my hands, having them out diagonally like that, all right? It will have the desired effect without putting you under so much of a strain. And if you wanted to do a bench press like that, you could hold two dumbbells like that, okay? It's kind of like an easy grip, or you could hold an easy grip bar like that, right? Or you could start your dumbbells fully supinated and then twist them so they end up pronated, all right? So any of those will target your upper chest and your shoulder more like you want when you're doing that kind of movement. Number six is doing a pec fly by stretching your arms back as far as you possibly can behind the body like that. That is asking your pecs to get torn, okay? You're not meant to bring your hands all the way back to the point where your shoulder blades are coming together and your shoulder here is all stretched out under load, all right? And you can tell this is not the way you're supposed to move, because notice how this feels versus how this feels. Notice how far back you can bring your elbow when you pull your elbows back with your hands in by your rib cage like this, and it feels perfectly natural. But starting from this position, now move your hands to the side and notice how your elbows move in. Okay, so naturally you're only supposed to be able to bring your hands a little bit further back behind the body when your arms are fully stretched out. Okay, going back further than that is not natural, and you'll be able to feel that strain, or you should be able to if you've got enough of a mind-body connection. So when you're doing your flies, all you need to do is move your arms back to the point where your elbows start to go back further behind the body a little bit. Okay, your arms should be mostly in alignment with the body. Okay, that is enough of a stretch for a fly. And if you want more of a stretch, do a bench press. That is the natural way for your elbows to get far behind the body and really stretch out your chest. Number 7 is wide grip pull-ups or pull-downs. This is not ergonomical or effective when you're going this wide. Okay, a wide grip is just outside of shoulders. You do not need to be grabbing the bar all the way on the sides where it starts to curve down like that and just doing this with, this range of motion and the way that it grinds your shoulders. Okay, if you want a wider grip, you just need to grip it outside of the shoulders like that. Okay, that's wide enough. One hand length wider than shoulder width, or so, about that much. Number 8 is doing face pulls from down low to up high, or from any angle by doing internal rotation like that I already talked about. That causes shoulder impingement, which is a permanent injury. Okay, what you should be doing for your face pulls is a neutral grip like that. You should be pulling from about here. Okay, you can pull from up high or down here, but you don't need to be pulling from lower than your shoulders. Okay, you should be pulling like that. That is how you do a face pull the way that your body is meant to. It's a neutral grip, otherwise known as a hammer grip, from shoulder height or higher. Number 9 is squatting ass to grass with heavy weight. Okay, this depends on the person. All right, a lot of smaller people have no issue with it, but the general rule is that when you're going heavy, you should only squat until your thighs are parallel with the ground. Because when you go down further than that, you're starting to round your back and recruit the back muscles, which are not meant to be bearing that kind of load under that kind of strain, and you are asking for injury. So those are all of the unnatural, harmful movements you need to avoid and what to do instead.